70 kilos. GRAHMEZ, U23 bronze medalist last year, U23 European Championship bronze medalist this year. Getting a taste of senior level competition.
Moldova is one of those countries that we've seen continue to improve over the last few years, and especially in women's wrestling and Greco-Roman. When you think about the success that they had last year at the Oslo World Championships, you think about Irina Ringaci, Iuna Leorta.
Good job working off the arm by Andreasyan. He's able to get the two. Immediately trying to get a wrench hooked up underneath. Has his hands locked. Maybe in a position to get a turn, bridging back and forth both sides of the body, and he will roll him over for two. Nice job there by Andreasyan to stay with it. 4-0 lead.
But back to my point, excuse me, that the success that they've seen in mentioning Ringaci and Leorta, also, of course, Victor Ciobanu for Greco-Roman that we'll see later on this week, a world champion, and they need somebody to step up to the occasion, rise to the occasion here in freestyle. They're dominating in women's wrestling. And I didn't even mention Anastasia Nichita, who we'll see here as well. She's one of those wrestlers who made it to the Olympics as an under-23 wrestler, has junior world title to her resume. So it's just, they're succeeding in women's wrestling and in Greco, and they're just waiting for that next step in freestyle.
Andreasyan was a guy that a lot of people were hoping from Armenia that he would be able to slide his way into the Olympics. He just missed out last year in Sofia. Had a real good international season leading up to that last chance Olympic qualifier. Had some momentum built, but that day things did not go his way. Just talks about how narrow a window it is to become an Olympian and compete.
Yeah, and around this weight class, 70, I'd say 65, 70, you're going to start to see Armenia run into a problem, and it's a problem for them, but it's a good issue for us because they have guys, when you think about Vaskin Tavanyan at 65 kilos, Arsen Haratunyan at 61 kilos, and then Andreasyan at 70. They're going to have three viable options at 74 kilos or 65 kilos come the Paris Olympic Games. It's just who is going to win the wrestle-off for that spot. That's the biggest question. One of my biggest questions heading into the Paris Olympic cycle is who will be Armenia's 65 and 74 kilo guy.
And it sounds strange, but with the COVID year coming off the Olympics last summer, it feels like it still should be some time down the road, but it's not. It is right on the doorstep. 2024 Olympic Games and the race for a world championship this year, which will be happening in Serbia come next fall. So a lot of ranking events to build up points and try to capture one of the seeds at the coveted world championships.
It is. It seems like it's years away, but the qualifications are already going to be next year.
Yeah.
So a lot of these spots are going to be claimed, and depending on the country, I know for the U.S. they have their Olympic trials, but for some other nations, we'll use Germany, for example, and I'll use Frank Stabler in particular. He qualified the spot for Germany at 67 kilos through the Nur-Sultan World Championships, and he automatically locked up his spot. So some of these will have the Olympians locked in, and I'd say 18 months from now, which will fly by.
It will. Feels good to have some normalcy back in the sport. All right, here's a shot underneath. Once again, it's Andreasyan trying to lift him up for two. Referee says reds, judge says I'll agree with you, 4-2. Had enough of the exposure there. Nice job by GRAHMEZ to get his first 2 points. Trying to do it again, and the referee says no, white paddled.
And I think if you're Moldova, this would be a great opportunity to challenge the call.
And I think that's what GRAHMEZ is trying to get the attention of his corner to do, is to push the button challenge. Does not look like they are, though.
And that's one of those, it's one of the 50-50 calls that would have taken the match in his favor, but then you also lose that challenge if it's unsuccessful.
Controlling the mat right now is Armenia. Trying to plow his way back into the center and doing a pretty good job is GRAHMEZ. Referee will warn both wrestlers, negative wrestling and freestyle with the finger interlocking. Slows down the action. They'll pounce on that pretty quickly.
And GRAHMEZ has to do a better job of keeping this left elbow down. You're seeing Andreasyan control the match through that right side underhook. And he's okay here. He's leading the match. And all this is doing at this point is just wasting the clock.
Slips around the side, working off that body lock position he had, and then shifted it around to the rear. 2 cushion points late for Andreasyan. Frustrated look from the corner of Moldova. Approaching 60 seconds to go in this final period.
And this is smart by Andreasyan, just controlling that right arm. Go right side underhook, and then on the opposite side with your left hand, control your opponent's wrist, leave it at that. Start to wrestle the clock at this point. You're up by 4 points.
He knows GRAHMEZ is going to be on the attack. He was ready for the sprawl back, 18 seconds. Time now for Moldova. If you have your biggest throw in the arsenal, try to get to the position to unleash it. GRAHMEZ just can't find any reliable grip. Final few moments, and it goes to Armenia here in the semis at 70 kilos. 6-2 for Arman Andreasyan.
So it'll be Andreasyan and Ayakobiashvili for European gold on Tuesday night.